welcome to this week's mystery spread. In front of you, you see 3 different decks. 1, 2, and 3. I want you to think of a number between 1, 2, and 3. Take a deep breath, breathe in, give permission to your guides to be here right now. Let your shoulders drop, your tummy muscles soften. Do the crystals draw you in? There is a message behind each card. Where do you feel drawn? Take your time, and when you're ready, we will begin with deck number 1. You can check out the timestamps underneath for the other 2 decks. I hope you enjoy. Deck number 1 has Amber sitting on top, and the cards are as follows: Sage Goddess, Mermaids, Raven Goddess, and Witch's Brew. The first message is all about amber, and amber is one of the crystals that is solidified tree resin from millions of years. It's one of the only crystals that is actually quite warm to the touch, and amber is a beautiful crystal associated with your joy, happiness, the solar plexus. So this beautiful piece of amber is just giving you a wee reminder to trust that beautiful solar plexus. Listen to your tummy, listen to your gut, and also it's time to find your joy. Find the joy in the small things this week. What is the simple things that make you happy? The people who make you smile. It could be that first cup of coffee in the morning. It could be a green light on the way to work. It could be a stranger smiling at you. Again, find joy in the small things and follow your bliss. Moving on to this week's reading. Well, we have very interesting cards here, and I feel this week, especially with the Witch's Brew and the Sage Goddess, very much about you looking after your health. The Witch's Brew for me is about a tonic and you needing to address certain dietary issues or needs. Indeed, some of your old allergies could be flaring up. Don't use this as an opportunity to berate yourself or be angry with your body. You could have fallen off the wagon in terms of addiction. You could have stepped off a healthy eating plan and been comfort eating or self-medicating. Please cut yourself some slack. This is a very heavy energy, and we're all going through a massive shift right now in the universe. Please be gentle with yourself. You have so many guides and angels trying to help you right now on your journey, and you can always start tomorrow. Also, this is a reminder of connecting with someone who really knows their stuff. The witches and sages of old brewed amazing potions and were known for their medicinal effects, so it could be time to consult an expert and get help and stop struggling alone. Second aspect is the Raven Goddess. This beautiful card is about following your intuition. Crows and ravens have always been symbols of mediumship and the connection and bridge between the living and the dead. This card reminds you that your ancestors surround you, that a loved one in spirit is trying to communicate with you at this time, and that you may be seeing signs. It could be feathers, it could be a song, it literally could be a smell. That's also about psychic gifts and abilities that are awakening in you. Stop writing them off or putting them down as coincidence. The third card here from deck 1 is a mermaid. Now, when you look at this mermaid, you can see other mermaids around her, but look at the waves. And indeed, the noisiest waves crash against the strongest rocks. You could be the rock for everybody else and find yourself adrift with nobody to turn to because you've built yourself up to appear to be so strong. It's time to break down those walls. It's time to let people in, and it may be time to sing your song again and let yourself be seen. Stop hiding yourself or playing small. And lastly, card 4 from deck 1 is the Sage Goddess. So it may be time to do a clear out, clear the clutter in your life. This can be twofold. It can be clearing your body, as in doing a detox, watching what you're eating, or it could be breaking out the sage, Palo Santo, sweetgrass, whichever you feel drawn towards, and doing a good old-fashioned clearance. Now personally, when I'm doing a clearance, I like to blitz the house, cleared from top to bottom, because there's really no point going around doing an energy clearance if your house is upside down. It defeats the purpose and energy gathers in corners. So a good old-fashioned clear out, and then go around and do an energy clearance. Make sure to always move upwards if you're using sage, Palo Santo energy sprays, as energy can get trapped if you make downward motions in corners. Upward motions, windows open, and invoke your angels, spirit guides and ancestors as you're clearing, as they truly want you to live your best life and are trying to let you know they're looking after you. So that is reading number 1, deck 1, very much about looking after your body, your health, trusting your intuition. Start to open your heart again and know the clearance work. You're nearly there, but it's time you trusted yourself a little bit more. Have a great week. This is the reading for deck number 2. And the first thing I'm drawn towards is this beautiful amethyst vogel that's sitting on top. And amethyst is one of my favorite crystals to work with. Indeed, I use these vogels when I'm doing my sittings. Amethyst is connected to your third eye, and that is all connected to your spirituality, to your growth, to your connection to spirit, and developing the gifts, all the clairs, your clairaudience, clairvoyance, etc. And amethyst is a lovely crystal to carry with you when you wish to develop these abilities and gifts. It's interesting because amethyst in Greek, they used to drink amethyst goblets so they could never tell a lie. So it's always about being honest and being true to yourself and your higher self. Beautiful crystal to awaken your psychic abilities and gifts. And I just find it one of those mesmerizing pieces. And so the deck as follows. Endings are inevitable. You don't need someone else to fix you. The shark swim away from this situation. And voyage, you already have the answers. This is a very interesting spread, as the minute I look at it, I feel this is the warning of a narcissistic person or energy, and it may be time to actually draw a line, say no, or finally realize that somebody is very bad for you. This could be a case of the ex, or someone comes in that reminds you of an ex, but either way, there are red flags around someone here. You need to pay attention and stop really projecting what you want to see in them as opposed to the truth of this person. You already know the truth. You know what this person is like, so it's time to listen up and trust yourself. The interesting aspect with the corresponding card is you don't need someone else to fix you. You do not, nor are you the rescuer, or are you responsible for another person's emotions and feelings. Sometimes in families we fall into that toxic dynamic of being the fixer, the problem solver, or the one that has to rescue everybody and be the go-to girl. Be reminded here that you do not have to do this. The interesting thing is she wears the scallop shell, which is the sign of the Camino and the pilgrim, and you indeed are on a journey in this lifetime. So sometimes you may really feel as if everything is not going your way or it's an uphill struggle. Know that you are a very old soul. This is not your first rodeo, and take heart and slow down. The grey card here about endings are inevitable. They are indeed, and they're a part of life, and the more we struggle and fight them, the worse they can be and the more painful the lesson is. When we form an attachment to a thing, a place or a person, we tend to set ourselves up for suffering, and when we release it from us, we are open to the possibilities of whatever can come our way. This card is a reminder that you may be focused too much on an outcome rather than releasing it from you and letting it go. And lastly, we have the voyage, which is all water based, and the endings are already there. And this is true. And sometimes in the Fool card in the tarot, it depicts this hopeless romantic optimist on a journey rather naively. What some would say, the Fool can be the wisest one in the deck, that appears to be naive and innocent, yet they can be an old sage underneath it all, quite akin to the court jester that deflected humour and kept them safe. So this card is very much about a journey you're already on. The water reflects the emotions and everything you've come through, and you're reminded that your soul has the roadmap. Your soul knows where you're heading. So the more you feel frustrated and angry, it means you're going against your soul's path. Pain is inevitable. It's part of life. It's part of the journey. We all need to go through it. But know there may be people along our journey that have navigated these waters before. Let them help you. Allow yourself to reach out. You're not on your own. And know that spirit surrounds you. So deck number 3 is very much about an emotional journey right now, connected to relationships, family relationships, love relationships, etc. Know it's time that you put into practice everything you've learned. You are not broken. You are enough. You always have been. But it's also time to let go and move forward. Deck number 3 features this beautiful piece of citrine. Citrine is a wonderful crystal for abundance. It's a great crystal to attract in wealth, joy, happiness. And you can feel the energy from that piece. I've always felt citrine is the happy crystal, and a crystal of action as well. So if you're going for a job interview and you need some confidence, this is a great crystal to carry with you. They say if you carry a small chip of citrine in your purse or wallet, it will keep filling up, as it's that lucky crystal that brings in all manner of joy into your life. A really lovely one to carry, and one of my personal favourites. So let's go into our spread for today. The cards we have are as follows: the Lady of the Lake, Joy, the Bee, and the Queen. This spread is very much about productivity, fertility, and grace in action. And if you've chosen deck number 3, there may be a project, an aspect of you that you really want to find expression in, and you're hoping will come about. The Queen is just this beautiful energy of the divine feminine, reminding you of your power, that you don't have to scream or shout to get everything done. All the answers are within you. And you can see here on the card, it's fertility, feminine power, sexuality, friendships. Everything is in balance and in harmony in this card. The Queen does not do drama. She does not run around with gossip. She doesn't coerce, manipulate, or bully people to get her way. She is simply in her power, and she knows what she has to do to get things done. So if the Queen has made her way into your cards today, it's about being assertive. You might need to give yourself a bit of talking to. You may have been procrastinating this last while. The Queen reminds you of who you are and to step up into your power and get on with things. There's no coincidence it's followed by the Bee, as the Bee is all about being industrious. Bees are always busy, and they are amazing workers. So Queen and the Bee this week are very much about telling you to just get moving. Sometimes if you break tasks down into small, manageable chores, if we look at something as a whole, sometimes it can be incredibly overwhelming, and we can actually start to disassociate and feel very disillusioned and almost have a complete shutdown. The Bee guides us to be the best version of ourselves and just keep doing one little thing at a time. Write down a list if you need, or just start doing small little areas. Sometimes it's tiny little things we tackle on a project instead of the big things that can lead to the bigger things being done. Joy, which is the outcome card here, which is gorgeous, as this means there's going to be a success in your endeavor this week. You'll have really reached a breakthrough, and this can be very tough if you've been building a house, on a fertility journey, or on some journey such as studying, even actually sometimes going through a divorce. It can be incredibly arduous, and we really feel like there's no let up or no end to it. This is about light coming through, and an end is in sight here for you. And the very last card on deck 3 is the beautiful Lady of the Lake, and this card is about cutting through any mind clutter. The presence of a sword, and any swords and cards are all about mental clarity and being able to see through the bull, being able to cut through all the nonsense and knowing what you have to get done and do it. This also requires you being honest with yourself. Are you the one that's blocking or slowing down a project? Have you refused to take advice or other people's opinions into account here? Are you being stubborn? The Lady of the Lake more or less says you know the answers. It's time to be honest with yourself and make the necessary decisions and forge ahead. All the cards this week on deck 3 are about productivity, action, moving forward with courage in your heart, and know that you are being supported by the universe. I hope you have a wonderful week. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week.